see you rock right now. This is a podcast. I don't think a lot of people watch the YouTube. So if you don't see her, obviously you don't. She is rocking on this intro. Well, hello, welcome to the Uribe's podcast. This is podcast number 5, and we are blessed. We have listeners. We actually have listeners.
People like to listen to us.
Or laughing at us, one or the other.
Let's see what they say.
Regardless, I think the most listeners was because of our munchkin. He pulled it in.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I can't wait to see the response for our 4th episode, which is pretty cool. We had my sister, Enfermera Marisol, over. Mm-hmm. And now we're on 5th, Cinco. So
I'm Annette, by the way. I'm Annette Uribe.
And I'm Lorenzo Uribe. Welcome to the Uribe's podcast. Awesome. So today we're going to talk about us in a way that what makes us work in business. In terms of, did we ever think about working together? What works, what doesn't? And where do we see each other in 5, 10, and 15 years?
Yeah. So I guess we can start off with, did you ever think we would work together?
Yes, I actually did. To be honest, when I was looking for that perfect mate, I wanted to see, one of the things that I looked for was the ability to grow a business together. Specifically, though, not what we're doing, specifically real estate management, property management, because I had already kind of planted the seed on that, and I wanted my future wife to be able to assist in the in the business, in growing it, and help me organizing it, and multiplying it. So,
basically everything that you don't like to do, which is all the
administration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did. And the moment, obviously, you were the perfect mate. I mean, for that. And
thank you.
For that and a lot more, love. But yeah, I mean, you are organized, right?
Not this episode, Lorenzo.
No. You're organized. You fill in everything that I don't do. So
I'm liking this episode already. Keep on going.
So yes, I always envisioned us working together, but like I said, not in what we do.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess to go off of what you were saying, I figured I would just help you because when we first met, and obviously you talked about your real estate investments and whatnot, but as we started dating and getting serious, and then once we got married, it was more so of really understanding what you did with real estate. And I figured, okay, well, I'll just take on the task of doing what you mentioned, the administrative stuff. So I figured it would be no-brainer. But like you said, we are working together, but now more so of growing not only real estate, but also our financial services, which is pretty amazing because never in a million years would I have thought that we'd be doing that, which is pretty awesome.
I agree. Never did I think we were going to do financial industries, financial services, be financial professionals. I thought we were going to, and I think we're still going to grow in realty, but I didn't think we're going to change
I think
courses this fast.
Or it's just staying in our careers and growing real estate investments, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And so you did see us working together, but just not in what we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So everything's been a blessing in disguise, I feel like, for us. And we were lucky enough to, first, you got started. And when I say first you got started, not only more so the business aspect with you already had your real estate, but also in the financial.
But just to clarify, when she says real estate, I'm not a real estate agent. We're realty investors, so as in buy and hold.
Yeah. And then you got started in the financial services.
Yes.
And a few months after, I saw how what you were learning, you were starting to apply to our own finances and our family and in general, and just the way that you were starting to think differently.
Can you elaborate on that?
Your goals got bigger. Your vision.
Yes.
You were always a very ambitious person and very optimistic. Like, oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna have. But it was always just, again, in the real estate.
Realty.
Like, we're gonna have all these doors, and we're gonna double by next year and triple, and that was always the goal, right? But it only stayed within that area, and then your vision just grew tremendously, where it was kind of like, okay, we're gonna take over the world, sort of deal. Like, the Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Pinky and the Brain?
I was not Pinky then. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you. What made us work together? So I guess you answered that. What made us work together? You said.
So I was saying you got started, and then I saw the growth and how you were applying that to our personal finances and our personal life, and I saw just. I guess I saw growth within you very fast, and I wanted to help you in however I could with that journey. And so that's a few months after I got my license and I jumped on board with you, and that's really when we started working together.
You mentioned something that actually I'm looking back, and you're right. The change. I didn't think I changed as much as she mentioned right now, but looking back as you're talking, I think you're right. In terms of vision, in terms of goals, it was pretty immediate within a few months. And what attracted, if you can answer, what attracted you to the first few months I was in the financial services? What attracted you to that business? Because you didn't attend the meetings and the trainings I did. So what, from the way I was getting home, or I got home, aside from the goals you mentioned, aside from the way we started organizing our finances, was there anything else?
So I know I always kind of had that business bug in me, or entrepreneurial bug in me. I just didn't know how to go about it. And I saw this as an opportunity that if we could both grow in it together and just really, one, I had just had a baby. So our first son was a few months old. I was not working because we had decided that was the best thing, to just not go back because of the commute, the hours, and just to be present as a mom with our first son.
Which, by the way, if people didn't hear one of our last podcasts, the commute was a killer. It was...
No, we haven't. I don't think we've talked about it.
An hour and a half. Oh. Well, her commute was bad. It was from Torrance to Downey, which is not that many miles. It's not that far, but
it's a 3-hour
LA traffic, it's bad. Okay.
So, yeah, that was kind of the beginning of it, and
so what I saw along with that was the personal growth that I had was mostly because of the people I was hanging around with, right? Never did I think in this financial industry did the trainings and the people that you were around was going to motivate or push me to become something better. Not only towards other people, but internally too. Like I really changed my mindset in terms of possibilities. The possibilities are really endless, and we really set our own stops. We set our own what I want to say. We set our own goals. I'm looking at Annette so she could help me out. She's not throwing me any lines whatsoever.
It's because the camera was. I'm watching the camera. Eliana is.
So the mindset. It's very important of being around people that will allow you to expand. That will inculcate that culture of
That want to
nonstop.
see you win.
Yeah, yeah.
So what have you seen that works for you? Or if someone, let's say someone's listening and they're like, oh man, I've thought about working with my spouse, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, whatever it is, and but we don't know if it'll work out for us.
Oh,
What
man.
do you?
So there's a lot of things. Well, first and foremost, if your relationship sucks already,
It's gonna suck more.
it's not gonna. In my opinion, it could still work, but it's just gonna be harder. What I mean by that is, if it's bad, it's possibly because the communication is not there. So we had good communication. We had our ground rules were firm. So the foundation of our relationship started even before we got married. We had the same mindset. We even talked about how many kids we want. A lot of our path, a lot of our vision kind of jived even before the business, correct? And after, what helped was, she's right. I did have big goals, and now I have bigger goals, but my goals encompass her and my family. So part of my goals is obviously making you happy, making you fulfilling everything you need and you want. So that goes inside my goals, and which makes it easier for your partner, to be inclusive, to see what you're seeing, to tag along and really walk beside you, not behind you, not in front of you, but walk beside you hand in hand, because you guys are walking the same path, walking the same beat. You're in sync, and that helps a lot.
Yeah. Well, along with that, I feel like it's not your goals and my goals, it's our goals. So we know what we need to do to get those goals done, and we're working together to achieve them. So
Quick example on that is, for example, when we were planning our wedding, it was not just Annette planning it, and definitely not just me planning it.
I kind of felt like it was just you.
Yeah. Just kidding. But what we did is, for example, we each took a sheet of paper, and we went to a corner of our house, or different times, and we each wrote what our ideal wedding was like. Like, what did we want in our wedding? As much detail as possible. And then we came together, and
It was
it's almost
same.
identical.
Yeah.
And we compared what we realized what was not, and if it didn't work with both of us, we just got rid of it. So the day of that's one of the best days of my life, really, the day of the wedding, and we both had fun, and we talk about that. We look at some pictures we have around the house, and it was perfect because we both met our expectations. We first wrote it out, so that's important in business. If you're getting to work together with your significant other,
A business plan.
write a good business plan, as detailed as you can make it, including the color, including how big of the office space, including everything. The example I'm using is the wedding. And after that, it's easy to make things a reality, because now when you're going throughout your life and things pop up, where those things are going to fit in your big plan, right? You could purchase the things you need because it's a perfect fit. And so that helps out, being as detailed as possible, communicating, and having the same goals. Now, having the same goals is pretty important. Yeah. You could have different goals, but they have to fit within the individual goals as well. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, they have to align.
Yeah, perfect.
Now, so you mentioned goals is obviously one of the big things.
Communication as well.
Communication. And then also just kind of knowing your strong suits, like who's good at what, how to handle what, how to tackle things, because either we're both, let's say we can both handle something, or I know obviously you're the brains behind all the real estate investments. So when it comes to that, you're the one who does that. And I'm more of the administrative. So I know I'm good at organizing and just keeping track of things. And I know now, like, okay, well, don't bombard him with giving him these tasks because either one, they're not going to get done, or
they'll get done, but really later.
Yeah.
So you also have to check your ego at the door, right? So I know I could do certain things in realty or in the financial world, but who's best at it and who has the time for it? So Annette's right. Being a realist, I'm more of a visionary. I'm more of like the dreamer, right? And like I have a bunch of ideas, and I want to do a lot of things. But Annette is really like my anchor in terms of she brings me back into reality. She helps me organize things, points me at the right direction, and then lets me go so I could just attack that, right? And it's not only attacking that, but it's also knowing that she has my back and she's doing what needs to be done in like administratively, and the details, the reminders. The reminders is a key because I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm everywhere. So the calls she makes, and that's the beauty of working as a team. I need her as much as she needs me. I think I need her more than she needs me. That's just a reality, because she's so grounded, she's so organized that that she could get things done. But then, how is that fair for her, right? At least that's how I feel.
I'm the one who gets overwhelmed pretty quick, though, or frustrated, and you're the one who's like brings me back to reality. It's like, no, you just got to get it done.
Yeah, so I think that just comes with a little more experience in like entrepreneurship, real life, just because I had done it for 15 years prior, or more like 12 years prior, and I went through a lot of stresses, and I made things that were a big deal at that time. I made them into a huge ordeal. If there was a problem with a property that I needed to go fix, I mean, I still have a career, and I was getting my master's at the time at full-time school, and had to manage a number of properties. And so it was stressful, but looking back at that, you really can't explode, or you can't make a big deal out of the little things, because it's either yes or no. Can you fix it now, or can you delegate for someone to do it, or do it later? So I think that's actually where we're at now. Excuse me. We're at the point that to help each other grow, we now need to delegate things that we could do it, we know how to do it, but it's not worth our time. And it's probably better to pay someone else to do it than to do it ourselves.
Right. Because we can be doing something else that will be more
productive, efficient,
yeah,
and economically better. So yeah, I agree. You asked another question, love, that I wanted to answer.
We were talking about what works for us.
Okay. A great tool that works for us is
the Google Calendar. We put everything on there.
So originally, I was all over the place. I started getting a lot of overtime, and then with the different ventures that we had going on, we would double book each other, right? So that didn't work.
Or just didn't know what was going on in each other's days, really.
Yeah, correct. And especially with court popping up here and there, that's really not planned for the law enforcement career. So a lot of things got mixed and matched. The moment Annette helped get our Google calendars together, that was night and day. She now sets up things in the future. If I need to take some time off, or if I have an overtime event that I need to do, because again, I tell Annette, I swore an oath of office to be in law enforcement. I love it, and I think that's as of now that's a priority. and everything else kind of goes around it for some things. And so I still can't ignore my career. But beauty about that is that I have 4 days off. So in those 4 days, we maximize every single moment we have. And she adds things to my calendar, and she organizes my day. And then if I need to do something or meet with people or meet with advisors, investors, then we also have different colors for importance and different colors for calendars. So that works, and it's free. You don't have to pay for a service. So another thing is that we learned is use the services out there that are free. You don't have to, when you're starting, you don't have to pay for different services that might look good or have a brand or anything like that. There's a lot of services that you could use. You could save money, and it makes life easier for the couple.
Yeah. And what would you say doesn't work, or what hasn't worked out for us?
What hasn't worked out, I would say, is lack of communication at times. We get, not we, but mostly I think I get so affixed with like the calendar that sometimes I don't realize the amount of time it's going to take me from point A to point B, like travel time. And also, and another thing is, if it is in the calendar, then we must do it. A great example is a podcast. We have it set to do the podcast every Thursday. And, it's been, sometimes it's been twice that we couldn't do it. We make up for it, right? However, if it does frustrate me that we don't stick to a calendar. And I think it's something that I need to work on, that it's good that I stick with a calendar, but at the same time, I need to be like water. Sometimes, unfortunately, we do these because of the amount of things we have to do throughout the day. We have to leave this towards the end of the night. And I mean, the reality is... For
example, it's 11... What time
12,
is it?
11, 12.
11, 12.
In the afternoon. And, I have to...
The evening.
I have to see that, realize Annette's pregnant. She's due in like a few weeks. She does all this stuff. So of course she's tired. I don't like canceling things. If I tell someone I'm gonna do it, I do it. Now, real life happens. There's nothing wrong with the moment you realize you can't do something, inform the other person. Hey, this came up. Let's change it. If it's possible, change it. But leave those times to be the exceptions and not the rule, right? But no one's perfect.
Right.
What do you think has not worked?
Well, I feel like the fact that we are, I want to say 3 years into going into just in the financial services.
3.5, yeah.
And within those 3.5 years, that it's been a learning process, and it's been an experience for both of us. So adjusting, whether it's training, learning new products and such, right? But now that we have the ball rolling, and I feel we're great at what we do, it's like we want to do so much and help so many people. But now it's like, okay, well, I need help with Aliana. Who's going to help me with Aliana? And so time is limited. And I think that's where my frustration comes, is I don't like the feeling of ignoring, like say Joel, our son, and Aliana is with us, and I'm on a Zoom call. Luckily, kids are really smart. They pick up very fast of what mommy and daddy do, and
the importance of
it. But still, it's like I just feel, although they're there with me and watching, I'll put on a movie because Joel, it's the time of the day that he's gonna watch a movie. I think that's just a frustrating part of.
So you said, I just feel, you didn't finish that thought. You just feel like you're not being present with them.
Right.
Okay.
So I guess that's what doesn't work right now. Having not the extra hands, so that I can feel either I'm fully present with my children, or I'm fully present in the business. To separate both, so that maybe it's just mom guilt.
So that is hard. However, why do we keep doing it? Why do we keep doing that?
So we know where we see ourselves going.
Yeah. So it's
the ultimate sacrifice we're doing to really be where we want to be, and so that
we create time.
Exactly. So we know that everything we're doing now is going to pay off. I mean, it's already started to pay off with, I
just
feel,
the place where we're at now.
Yeah, exactly. From 5 years to now, it's complete day and night.
Yeah, just the fact that we already had I consider a nice house to grow a nice family in State Downey, and the mentality that had once our mentality changed, and we started hustling really, and put our head down and working and really planning it out and moving our finances around so it could work for us and really not against us, which is most people that we sit down with. It's we made our almost our dream house, not yet, but a reality faster than not.
Yeah.
And but like I said, we're definitely not perfect. We're still in the working thing, and
I don't think it's for everyone. The sense of
working with your couple, yeah.
Well, one, working with your couple, and maybe putting so much time into building a business. It's definitely not for everyone. I know for myself, I enjoy the feeling of accomplishment, of getting something done, and like that fulfillment. So that's what keeps me going. And not only that, but seeing our growth as a couple, and then seeing our son and our daughter, how they're growing up, and the things that, just right now they're being exposed to, not only mentally, but like extracurricular stuff, vacations and stuff like that. It's pretty awesome. And again, it's just the beginning, in the sense of we know we still want to accomplish so much more. And what's making it for you?
Good question. Making it is, for me at this time, is having like $3 million cash, liquid, and having multiple companies run by themselves. And when I say multiple, I want three companies running by themselves. And financial services just growing, with our team expanding to the point that we are providing value not only to our clients, but also our associates, the people that work with us. I want to make sure that we make them feel as free to conquer their own dreams as we do. That's making it so that when the teachers, professors at school ask our kids, who is your role model, I want them to say Annette, or my mom and my dad. That's making it for me. I want the fact that when we pass, we are not forgotten after our kids. I want to know that we leave a legacy behind. We're a philanthropist, and we honestly, like, I want to go to a charity one day. That's one of my goals. I want to go to a charity one day, and if, let's say, they're trying to raise, $2 million, I could easily write a check to $1 million, and leave it in the table, and just say, from an anonymous person, and walk away. Like, I would literally want that to be our future. And I say it right now, it's hard for me to share this idea because most people don't have that. They'll either think we're cocky. At least this is what I used to think, cocky, or how dare they think that, or what makes them so cool that they're gonna make it. But all that's minimal. Like, I left all that behind. Now I'm not worrying about people like that. Now I have real challenges that I need to. The worst enemy I have is myself. That's who I'm trying to trying to beat.
Yeah, and I think we've learned in the last couple of years that what's the worst that can happen, right? We either get a no, or it just doesn't work out the way we did, or we thought it would work out, but that doesn't mean that's going to stop us. So caring what not caring what others think is a big one, because one, they're not paying our bills, and they're not really, at the end of the day, no one's going to care more about our future than us, right? So
Absolutely.
we better do something about it, or else no one else will.
Yeah. Hun, where do you, since we're talking about that, where do you see us in, like, say, 10 years? Or where do you see us in the future? And if you have a timeline, share that.
Not so more of a timeline, because honestly, now with technology and everything that we have around us, I feel like we're in an era where, and again, it's up to us, right? How fast we want to really grow, or how fast we want to just execute. But thankfully, because of platforms that we have access to, I really think that, in the next couple of years, we will be reaching a lot of the goals that we have in mind. One of them is, at least, I know you don't want to retire, but maybe retiring you from one of your duties. That's the ultimate goal, so that we keep growing in other areas to live the life that we see for ourselves. And what's that life is having the time, really having the time that we want, where no one is giving us a schedule. And it's not, and I guess it's not so much for me that I don't have a schedule that anyone gives me, but just so that we're both on the same page. In reference to that, our children, just seeing them being able to take advantage of, let's say Joel, he's studying Taekwondo. Hey, let's go to Korea so that he can see it firsthand, right?
Yeah.
So just experiences like that. But financial independence is a big one, and really having the streams of income so that we are basically, it said money isn't everything, but at the end of the day it is, right?
Do you want to share how many streams of income do you want?
At least 7.
Yeah. The whole thing is having 2 active ones and the rest passive income. Yeah, I think that's good. Good stuff. And where do I want to see each other go from here is in 5 years. I kind of do have a timeline. In 5 years, I want to make it so that we have streamlined the property management portfolio. We have tripled our portfolio size. That's one. And then also, I want our kids to go to private school, because I don't like where public school's headed, and I refuse to participate in that. That's just a personal thing. Nothing. Well, we'll leave it at that. And then, really, like Annette said, travel. I want to travel for education purposes, as in, if our kids are studying like the Great Wall of China, well, let's go and check it out firsthand. If they're studying the pyramids, let's go to Egypt, check it out. Things like that. I want our kids to be like well-rounded and participate in life and be great public speakers. I want one to be in the music industry, arts. If not professional, that's fine. But as long as they get their hands on an instrument and be little entrepreneurs.
I like it.
Sweet. So this topic came in mind because someone mentioned it. So keep mentioning topics, and we'll talk about them. We love to share where we came from, where we're at, and where we're going.
I agree. That's it. I guess till next time. Thank you for listening. Adios.
Thank you.